Good evening to one and all present here. Respected Mrs. Jayalakshmi Amma, the Kaligi family, Mr. Balan, our principal, all the wonderful women leaders who are sitting in the front row. I would first like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity. It's indeed a great honor to be part of this wonderful event today. It was, to me especially, when Shri Balan called me and he said, it's for Women's Day that we are calling you. First of all, it's a very special moment. I'm not one of those people who look at these days as very important. Basically, Women's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Grandparents' Day. We have a lot of days these days. Maybe when I grew up, it was not very commonly said. So we say we are a woman every day. But I do understand that we have to celebrate someday. So in my opinion, what is celebration becomes a big question. Why do we want to celebrate? But I think I got the answer largely with all of you members from different departments coming up to share what you feel as a woman. I can see that many of you feel exhausted because I found you trying to manage home versus profession versus trying to be this woman who has to multitask every day. So when I was sitting there and looking at this, I loved the line empowering women, tag, and saying empowering humanity. The key to our question is, I'm not here to actually describe what is the status of women today. Because most of you brought the best of what we are today in many, many ways. We took two different dimensions. One was the ramp walk in which all the excellence came through. People who have stood against diverse adversity. People who have made a mark for themselves in several fields. We looked at them. And of course the largest cheer came for Madhuri Dixit. That's also our state. But that's how we look at it. Somewhere entertainment and fashion and all of that we seem to value also a little higher. Whatever is probably a celebrity. But going back to my childhood, I want to say, what do I remember, like Mrs. Shabari said, let's look at the purpose of life. So if I go back down memory lane and look at life, I don't remember anybody but probably my grandmother. Every festival, she was the person to ask. Sometimes, in our narrow vision, we also think women are oppressed beyond. But if we all step back a little and look at a wedding or any event or a ritual, it is the woman behind scenes who rules the roost. Everyone, it could be the mother-in-law, it could be the grandmother, it could be your aunt who knows a little bit about everything. You don't ask a man, should we do this next or should we do that next? We ask the woman. We're very powerful people, you know. But we have been stopped from doing certain things. But it is not only the problem of a man. Some of you may not like it if I say that. 50% of this world, let's say, if we were equal in gender presence, 50% is men, 50% is women, right? And if we are also going by the fact that you people have presented today from Sita Devi to Draupadi to everything sustains, where have we gone wrong? 50% of the women could have stopped this happen. We showed a mother-in-law going Bahurani, Bahurani. But the point I'm making is she was a Bahu herself. Our, Saas bhi kabhi Bahu thi or something we have seen. So and we also showed the power of a mother. The first drama that you showed was about a man disregarding a woman. In fact, he couldn't bring up the child as well as the mother. And that's the truth in life. We are the head of a family, whether people accept it or not, whether we are financially independent, dependent, whatever may be the case. Have you seen in many of our lives, men with great respect I say this, men are like children largely. Initially it is the mother, after a while it will be the wife, probably later the daughters. Because for them, when we get into a place, we can get into the kitchen, we can get into the work, we are managing ourselves largely. So where have we gone wrong? Why do I say this? Because of one big reason. As long as I'm going to say that whatever is my status is because of things outside of me, I'm going to say the blame is because of the man, the society, this and that, but I will never find a solution. But remember, let's take a very simple example. If you were to fall and if you don't pick yourself up and you say the road wasn't okay, there was this, there was that, what do? We take responsibility for the fact that we have fallen. We simply rise and shine, right? So the first thing is, I've seen 7 of what your presentations were brilliant, and almost all of them were lovely and young, and they are all at that cusp of understanding what their role is. You're all very powerful people. You have to first believe that you are powerful. Nobody else can tell you that except yourselves. And the moment I know that, moment I know I will become what I will have to become, what Shabari probably called as purpose of life, you will find a way. Because so many of you have become teachers today. You did. And the same Sita walked out, never asked Rama to take her back. She was quite clear about it. Fair enough. So whenever we have decided, we have managed. So who is to be blamed is not the question. So how do we make it? Imagine in your house, your son or your daughter largely listens to you. If you treated your son and daughter equally without creating stereotypes, boys means you shouldn't cry, be brave. Why not? Why should boys be brave alone? They should also have emotions. They are also vulnerable people. Girls means, I don't know how many of you watch, I'm not a Nia Nana person, but then I saw one of this because it keeps featuring. There was this boy who told the girls that Acham, Madam, Nanam, Pairpu should be there. So one of those girls got back and asked, explain to me what this all means. He doesn't know. This has been said over a period of time, you have to be all this, right? So my request is, first is we have to believe that it is not because of anybody that we are like this. It is because of ourselves, largely because we have not stood together. If the mother has supported the daughter, it will work. If the mother-in-law supports the daughter-in-law, it will work. If we as a community of women stand and teach our boys that this is how you respect a woman, it will work. That was the first line I think Dr. Vasanta said. Yatra naryan sti pujyante tatra ramanta tatra devata. Which means if you learn to respect women, their divinity sustains. Dharma will rule. That is what she said. So I'm just trying to look back and say, if any of us here have managed anything today, it's not because any of your problems got settled. You just simply want to be here. You want to give the best of presentation. You enjoyed, I'm sure more than putting it here, you'd have all laughed behind the scenes so much putting it together. Isn't it? That's the best part of life. When you know that you can do it, and I like that, yes I can. So yes I can is about, and I love that girl fighting with the mother. That's the stage today. But what is happening is, look at the dichotomy in the mother and daughter. You're talking about Women's Day, but you have a mother who says, no, you can't go abroad. Why? Because we think it's not a safe place. She will find a white man and marry. We can't handle that, right? So we have our own problems, but we blame it on men also half the time. let's be very clear. If we decide, first of all, we have to uplift women ourselves. How many of us senior teachers look after the younger ones? It's always like this. In our times, we will always stand, we will sit, we will ask them and do. If the junior has got a better way of doing things, it's not about who is saying, but what is being said. So I think you are teachers, you are mothers. If nothing has changed in this society, it is not just in India. Sexual abuse, harassment, domestic violence, orphaned children, all of this is common across the world. So if communities have lived in patriarchy, it is not simply because of the men alone. Women have been part of maintaining it in parts. So somewhere, if we take responsibility today, I don't know how many of you will agree with me, but then I'm just trying to say, if this team, look at your numbers. I asked Mr. Balan, how many male members are with you? Because I saw 3 of them welcoming me. I was very excited. I thought equal numbers will be there. But you're kind of majority here. They should be afraid. So the point I'm making is, and if you look at all the jokes that come, it'll always be like a man who's shivering in front of his wife. This is a joke that is always existing, but that's not true. All I'm asking is, if society has not changed and we belong to the 50% of society, should we step back a little and ask ourselves, how am I bringing up my boys? How am I bringing up my girls with that strength and belief that they can do it? How am I giving equal opportunity? What is my psyche culturally to say, should I stay with boys after? I will not go to my son-in-law's house. This is something that people say. Today, half of them are staying only with their daughters. 3, when can I prioritize what is it that I want to do? In the name of financial independence, am I losing my whole life? Or when should I start working? For example, they started with cyber. And there's so much work that you can do from home, they said. If we are not still ready for a job that we can't handle, and if you have a priority as a mother, you have to do certain things first. Can we step back and decide next 3 years I am not working, after that only I will, because this seems to be my priority. Somewhere, women are very powerful. Women are afraid sometimes, but I don't think you need to. Because every one of you, somehow, in every adverse situation, you have found strength if you believed in yourself. So the crux is, I leave you with simply 2 messages. As long as we believe outside world is what is doing something to us, we will not find a solution. We have to believe we are responsible for the place we are in. 1. There are so many people in this world who are less fortunate, far less fortunate than any one of us seated here. Can we even look after 1 girl child for education, each one of us? Or 5 of you together, can you look after 1 girl child's education? Where is proactive nature within us? If you really feel for the girl community, if you really feel for every woman in this world, why are we looking at rape victims not as a victim but somebody who is being sullied, somebody who is dirty today? It's our mindset. So society is comprising 50% of women or more. Sexual abuse is not only for women anymore. It is very often, it is the boys who go through a lot of problems. It is about widening your horizons now and saying, if my community of women will have to rise, I have to be proactive. So 1 is to identify a problem, 2 is to empathize with it, but lastly, if we do not reflect and act on it, I don't think every 8th we will all celebrate, we will put nice little, drama, but nothing of the women will change. If you as a woman do not feel empowered in your home, if you can't speak up in your residence saying, this is what I feel, if you can't empower your daughter and break the stereotypes of boys, treat them boys and girls equally at home, give them equal opportunity, look after the maid's daughter or anyone that you feel, but if collective action is not happening, if collective wisdom does not prevail in making you strong, and the day we start saying we are this because of somebody, we will find a solution together. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an uplifting